George Berkeley by Dave Marsland of Cardiff Theosophical Society. George Berkeley, 1685 to 1753, was an influential philosopher and theologian of the 18th century. Born in County Kilkenny, Ireland, Berkeley made significant contributions to the fields of metaphysics, epistemology and the philosophy of religion. His philosophical ideas have had a lasting impact on Western thought and continue to be studied and debated to this day. Berkeley was born into a well-to-do family and received his early education at Kilkenny College. He later attended Trinity College in Dublin, where he excelled in his studies and developed a keen interest in philosophy and the natural sciences. During his time at Trinity College, Berkeley was exposed to the works of philosophers such as John Locke and Isaac Newton, whose ideas would greatly influence his own philosophical development. Berkeley's philosophical ideas were shaped by the intellectual currents of his time, particularly empiricism and the scientific revolution. He was deeply influenced by the works of John Locke, who espoused the theory of empiricism and the idea that all knowledge is derived from sensory experience. Berkeley also engaged with the scientific advancements of his era, particularly Newton's theories of space, time and the nature of reality. These influences laid the groundwork for Berkeley's own philosophical enquiries. One of Berkeley's most famous and controversial philosophical positions is his theory of immaterialism, also known as subjective idealism. According to Berkeley, the material world as we perceive it does not exist independently of the mind. He argued that all that exists are ideas and perceptions, and that physical objects are nothing more than collections of ideas. This radical stance challenged the prevailing notion of material substance and raised profound questions about the nature of reality and perception. Berkeley's famous dictum, esse est percipi, to be is to be perceived, encapsulates his idealist philosophy. He contended that the existence of an object is contingent upon its being perceived by a mind, whether human or divine. In other words, the very being of an object consists in its being perceived or known. This concept has provoked extensive debate and criticism as it challenges common sense notions of an external, mind-independent reality. In his treatise, A Treatise Concerning the Principles of Human Knowledge, Berkeley launched a scathing critique of the notion of abstract ideas, a central tenet of traditional metaphysics. He argued that the concept of abstract ideas, such as the general idea of a triangle or a tree, is fundamentally flawed and incoherent. According to Berkeley, such abstract ideas cannot exist independently of a perceiving mind and are therefore illusory. This critique had far-reaching implications for the understanding of language, thought, and the nature of concepts. Berkeley's idealism was deeply intertwined with his theological convictions. He posited that the ultimate ground of all reality is the divine mind, and that the perceptions of finite minds are sustained by the infinite mind of God. In this view, the regularity and orderliness of the world are explained by the continuous perception and sustenance of all things by God. Berkeley's philosophy thus had profound theological implications as it sought to reconcile the material world with the existence of a benevolent and omnipotent deity. Despite facing significant opposition and criticism during his lifetime, Berkeley's ideas have endured and continue to be a subject of scholarly interest. His contributions to the philosophy of perception, metaphysics and epistemology have left an indelible mark on the history of philosophy. Berkeley's idealism has been a source of inspiration for subsequent philosophers including Immanuel Kant and Arthur Schopenhauer. His work also continues to be relevant in the contemporary discussions in the philosophy of mind and cognitive science. In conclusion, George Berkeley was a pivotal figure in the history of philosophy, whose ideas challenged conventional wisdom and laid the groundwork for new avenues of philosophical inquiry. His idealist philosophy, critique of abstract ideas, and theological underpinnings have left an enduring legacy that continues to provoke thought and debate. Berkeley's intellectual contributions have earned him a place among the most influential philosophers of the early modern period, and his work remains a touchstone for scholars and thinkers across disciplines.